Okay, I'll explain you again. Wait, okay. Okay, today we're gonna study about what? Computer hardware, okay?
If you work with computers, you've likely heard terms like RAM, hard drive, and processor mentioned by tech support or others who are more interested in what goes on inside of a computer's case. You've always wondered what the various components of your computer are for, but have never really had the time to look into it, then this video is just for you. While each one of these components is complex enough to spend a lifetime learning about, I'm going to give a very broad and general overview. A typical desktop computer comes down to these 7 essential parts.
Okay, there are 7 essential parts in computer, okay? So what are the essential parts?
Case, power
Case, power
supply,
supply,
motherboard, CPU,
motherboard, CPU, RAM, hard drive, graphics card. Okay, so we use power supply to give the required amount of power to the hardware components like CPU, motherboard, RAM, hard drive, graphics card. They need power to do their work. Okay, so we use power supply for that. Okay, so we use then motherboard. We use motherboard for as a communication bridge between CPU and other components. What are the other components? Random access memory, hard drive, and graphics card, keyboard, mouse, and all that. Okay. Then CPU. CPU will be what? Central processing unit. So central processing unit will do all the processing should be done. Okay. It will take the input and give you the output, as you all know. Then RAM. RAM will run the application and will do that running application. Then
Read the memory.
yeah, reading the memory. So all kind of running memory stuffs will be done by random access memory. Okay, then hard drive will do the storing part. What we are storing, the videos or the audio, whatever you download or you are editing, everything will store in hard drive. Okay, then graphics card. Graphics card will give you a good video output.
Top computer. It may seem daunting at first, so let's separate these into 2 categories. Simple ones and the more complex ones.
Okay, so we can divide it into two main types. Okay, so one is simple components and another one is complex component. Okay,
For starters, let's look at the case. The case is nothing more than a big hunk of plastic that houses everything else. Some of them have more or less physical space, some of them have different parts where you can put screws in or this or that, but at the end of the day, all the case really does is provide a nice enclosed system for everything else. Next up, we have the
Okay. So first of all, everyone write this simple and complex and write it.
Sir, should we draw this?
If you can draw this, it will be fine. Okay.
Sir, should we draw this?
In your note on your notebook.
What are you doing? Papa, stay silent. Sir, completed.
Everyone finished?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Bye-bye. Finish, sir.
Finished?
Yes, sir. No, sir. Finish, sir.
Done, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Power supply. This part of your computer, but at the end of the day, all
Okay, so now write, put a small heading, small subtitle called case and write it.
Sir, we should draw.
No need. If you want to draw, you can draw. Okay? Because you already drew, right?
Finish, sir. Finished, sir.
Okay. Everyone finished, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
the case really does is provide a nice enclosed system for everything. The last of plugs into the wall and provides them for everything else.
Sorry? Hello?
Next up, we have the power supply. This part of your computer, almost always located on the bottom, is the part that plugs into the wall and provides all of the other parts with the electricity needed to do their thing. You can think of it as an extremely advanced AC adapter. The last that plugs into the wall and provides all of the other parts with the
Okay. Write this. subheading power supply.
Okay, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Everyone finished?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Electricity needed to do their thing. You can think of it as an extremely advanced AC adapter. The last of the simple parts to mention is the motherboard. The motherboard is a wide and flat circuit board that all of the other components plug into. It's the part that lets all of these components send. The last of the simple parts to mention is the motherboard. The motherboard is a wide and flat circuit board.
Okay, write this subheading motherboard. Okay.
Okay, sir. No, sir. Okay, sir. No, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, good.
That all of the other components plug into. It's the part that lets all of these components send electrical currents composing data between each other. While not particularly expensive, the motherboard is arguably the most important component because without it, you'd have nowhere to put anything else.
Okay, write that third point also.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay,
Sir,
good.
can we paste pictures for the hardware components?
Yeah, Ken. Sure.
So that's it for the simple components. Now let's move on to the more complex parts, the ones that deal with data. The four main components to keep in mind here are CPU, RAM, hard drive, and graphics card. Now first things first, I'm going to establish some terminology. Keep in mind that CPU is also known as the Central Processing Unit, or processor. These terms all refer to the same thing. They're completely interchangeable. RAM stands for Random Access Memory and is often referred to as just memory. A hard drive is often referred to as a disk drive or storage. And a graphics card is also known as a GPU or graphics processing unit. For this explanation, I'll be using the terms CPU, RAM, hard drive, and graphics card. So let's start with the CPU. The CPU is where your computer does things. It isn't really capable of storing very much data at all, but it's very good at doing things with data. Quickly reading it, arranging it, doing the type of quick and massive calculations needed to run your programs. This is where most of your programs are essentially run from. It's often referred to as the brain of the computer. I personally don't like this description because really your entire computer is just a brain. It's just the center part of your computer. Referred to as the brain.
Okay, write this. Heading is complex component of computers and subheading CPU or central processing unit.
No, sir. Finish, sir.
Everyone finished?
Yes,
Students?
sir.
Okay.
Of the computer. I personally don't like this description because really your entire computer is just a brain. It's just the center part of your computer's brain. Basically everything that happens in your computer goes through your CPU at some point. Now let's talk about RAM and hard drive at the same time because they have a very unique relationship, which is probably why people often confuse the two. Your hard drive is where all of your data is stored. When your computer tells you you're running low on space, it's because your hard drive is almost full. All of the data that makes up your videos, pictures, documents, project files, or the 3D worlds and models that make up a game are all stored here. While hard drives can store lots of data, they're relatively bad at accessing that data quickly. Everything is accessed through a tiny little wire here, and because most hard drives are made up of spinning disks, your hard drive isn't going to be able to constantly give your CPU the information it needs to run certain programs. That's where RAM comes in. RAM is another form of storage. It stores the exact same kind of data as your hard drive, but RAM sacrifices storage space for nearly instant accessibility. Unlike your hard drive, which sends all of its data through a tiny little thin wire, your RAM is arranged in these long, thin sticks that insert into your motherboard. Think about a storage unit. If you have a massive warehouse with only a thin doorway, it's going to be difficult to get in, find what you need, and get out if it's kind of spread all over the place. You'll have to go through a tiny door. But if you have a long, wide storage shed that's got a big, massive garage composing an entire side of it, you won't be able to store as much, but things are significantly easier to get to. Typically, if your computer has 1,000 gigabytes of storage space in your hard drive, it's likely got about 16 gigabytes as much to go through it. If you have a drive which sends all...
Okay. Students, write this. Subheading RAM and write data files stored, small storage space, fast access, then subheading hard drive, data or file storage stored, large storage space, slow access. Okay.
So finished.
Everyone finished?
Yes.
Good.
Of its data through a tiny, thin doorway storage shed that's got a big, massive garage composing an entire side of it, you won't be able to store as much, but things are significantly easier to get to. Typically, if your computer has 1,000 gigabytes of storage space in your hard drive, it's likely got about 16 gigabytes worth of RAM. Here's where you put the stuff you own but you aren't currently using, and this smaller one is where you put the stuff that you are using and need to be able to get in and out of quickly. When you run a program or a project file, your CPU identifies what parts of data are needed for that program to run. It pulls them from your hard drive, and then it stores them in your RAM sticks for quick accessibility. This is why when you start a new level of a game, for instance, it has to load. Anytime you see loading, it's loading the data that composes that level from your bulky hard drive into your RAM. From a user's perspective, just follow this rule of thumb. RAM allows you to run intensive programs, while disk space allows you to have more of these in programs installed. It also allows you to have more of the data they're referencing, whether it be pictures, videos, or mods. And finally, we get to the graphics of more drive. This is why we identify.
Okay, students. Did everyone understood this? What is RAM and hardware? Students?
Not clearly, sir.
Yes, sir. Not clearly.
Okay.
As what parts of data are needed for that program to run.
Okay. So you have a computer, okay? And in that computer you have RAM and hard drive, as I said. So in hardware you have a video, okay? You have a video. So in order to play that video, you need to go and search for that video and open it, right? So if you open that video, the CPU will find where that file is exactly, okay? So these are the files that need to be loaded. So the CPU will load the file to RAM, okay, in order to play the video. All right, so then it will store the respective data in order. So here the data will be there, okay? Here we have the data. The data will be processed and give you as a information, okay? So what is data? As usual, we know data is a raw material. It doesn't have a meaning. Okay. Sorry. Raw. Okay. Raw. Information means what? It's a meaningful data. Meaningful data. Okay. Clear?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Anyone have a doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So shall I move to the next one?
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
It pulls them from your loading. It's run intensive programs, while disk space allows you to have more of these programs installed.
Okay. Write this. No points in RAM and hard drive.
Sir, should we write these?
Yeah.
Sir, finished.
Okay. Everyone finished?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No,
Good.
sir.
No, sir. Okay, sir.
It also allows you to have more of the data they're referencing, whether it be pictures, videos, or mods. And finally, we get to the graphics card. With all of the calculations going on in your computer to turn a bunch of numbers that basically come down to ones and zeros into a constantly updated three-dimensional world, the final and most important and arguably most difficult step is to display that on your monitor. It's possible for your motherboard to do this alone, but it's not going to look good. It's certainly not going to be able to do much. Your graphics card is essentially an entire computer in and of itself, dedicated to the simple task of figuring out what pixels need to light up on your screen, in what color, and at what time. If you were playing a game that had a very busy and high texture world with lots of models and different angles and colors, your CPU is the thing that creates that world. It knows where the stuff is, and it does so with data that's been stored in your RAM, which was loaded out of your hard drive. But it's your graphics card that figures out what it's supposed to look like based on where you're standing in the world. Without getting too off topic here, if you're somebody who likes math, I highly recommend you look up fast inverse square root, which is directly related to how three-dimensional worlds calculate perspectives. So that pretty much sums it up. There are other components worth mentioning, such as cooling systems or internal wireless cards, but really those are extras. So to summarize what I talked about so far, the case stores everything in a physical box. The ping system versus what is where the if your part is a game that had an entire computer in and of itself, dedicated to the sole task of figuring out what pixels need to light up.
Okay. Write these 2 points.
Finished,
Okay.
sir.
Finished.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
On your screen, RAM stores data that is needed on your monitor. Out many more. Thank you very much for watching.
Okay. So now let's see. The case will contain every component in a every essential component in a PC. Okay, so power supply will give the required amount of current to the hardware components. Motherboard will distribute the power and act as a communication bridge between CPU and other components. And RAM will be a temporary memory, and it will run the data and information and applications. Okay, then hard drive will store the data and data permanently, and whenever you want it will retrieve and show it to you. Then hard graphics card will give you a good video output. Okay, clear everyone?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, shall we do a small quiz, students?
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All right.
Sir, will you send the link for us?
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Okay. Students, check your WhatsApp group. I have sent you the link.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sir, this is the code.
Okay. Or else use this code 378194. Okay. I have sent you a link. All right.
Sir, still you didn't start?
No, I didn't start yet. I'm waiting for others to come. Okay. Only two of you
Okay,
are
sir.
there. Okay. I'll start the quiz now. Students, I'm going to start the quiz.
Okay, sir.
Students, in some question you have to give two answers. Okay.
So finish.
Okay, wait for this. Netra, are you doing it for second time? Netra? Natasha, finish the quiz as soon as possible because everyone is waiting for you. Tanya, miss? Tanya, miss?
fourth place is me, sir. I'm Shirley.
Sorry?
The game code. My name is Shirley, sir. The fourth place. I mistakenly
Okay.
wrote the
Okay. What's your name?
Shirley, sir. Shirley.
Shirley. Okay. Students, don't do the quiz again.
Sir, can we do the quiz again?
No, you can't. Even though you do the quiz again, I will remove the second attempt and I will put the first attempt only. Okay? The first attempt will be your marks, not the second attempt.
Okay,
Okay?
sir. Okay, sir.
Everyone remember, not the second attempt. Even though you do so many attempts, the first attempt will be your marks. Okay? Tanya miss,
Yes, Ali.
I'll finish the quiz. Okay. Do you
Okay.
know who is this Goki and no, right? There are no students, right?
No.
Okay, I'll finish the quiz. Okay. So first is Amshi. Second, second is Sharon. Third is Angel. This is not our students, some external participants. Okay. So let's see the questions. Okay. So first question is the instructions that tell the computer what to do. What is that? Which component will give the instruction to the computer what to do? Tell me.
Software.
Yeah, software. Okay. The the physical objects that make up the computer system. What is it? What are the physical objects that make up the computer system? Sorry?
Hardware.
Yeah, hardware.
Hardware.
Yeah, hardware. The two type of softwares. What are the two type of softwares?
System application.
Operating
And
system
application.
and application system.
Yeah, system and application system. Application software. Operating system won't come because operating system is a part of system software. Okay. Then type of operating system. Okay, what are the type of operating system available?
Linux, Unix, Windows.
Good. Unix, Linux, and Windows. Good. Next one. Hardware and software do not have to work together. True or false?
False.
False.
False, because hardware and software have to work together. Okay. Next, can you touch software? True or false?
No.
False.
False.
Can't touch software. Example of hardware are, what are the example for hardware?
Keyboard,
Keyboard,
mouse.
mouse.
Keyboard, mouse, system unit.
Microsoft Word and GTA are software. Okay. So students, from today onwards, you will get some checkbox question also. Checkbox question means you have to answer. You can give two more than one answer for a question. Like today, gave you some question like that. So you can give keyboard, mouse, system. You can give the three answers also. Okay.
Okay.
So what is the picture over here? Is it an input
Keyboard.
device or okay,
Input device.
or a process device or a output device? Input device.
In, input.
It's an input device. Okay. Next. What is this? What is the picture over here?
Monitor.
Compute monitor.
Monitor. So what kind of device is that?
Output.
Output.
Good. Output device. Okay. Which of the device can save our files?
Drive.
Pen drive. Good. What will a printer do?
Output.
Output device. You already know. Okay. So the CPU is called the
Brains.
brain.
Brains of the computer.
Good. Brains of the computer. Good. What does the hardware does? What does the hardware do? Stores.
Stores information permanently.
Okay. What else? Give instruction or drives through the computer? No, right? Only stores the information permanently. Okay. What is the piece of hardware?
Power supply.
Sorry?
Power supply.
Power
Yeah,
supply.
Power supply.
it's a power supply unit. Okay. Next. Which of the following is an output device? Printer, mouse, or
Printer.
printer is a output device. What does RAM stands for?
Random access memory.
Random access memory.
Good. Perfect. RAM is what kind of memory?
Temporary.
Temporary. Good. Temporary memory. Okay. Okay, students. The class is over for today. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So the next class will be assembling and disassembling computer parts. Okay. How to assemble and disassemble a computer part, a CPU. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So did everyone give me the homework I gave last time?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'll give you the marks
Yes,
on
sir.
next class. Okay.
Sir, how much is the full marks?
I will put the marks for 100. I'll put. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if anyone didn't give the assignment till yet, you can submit it. Okay, you can send me through WhatsApp or email. Both way are possible. Okay. I hope everyone have my number or email. Okay. So send it me as soon as possible. Okay. God bless you, students.
Thank you, sir. God bless you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. God bless
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir. God bless you,
Thank
Thank
sir.
you,
you,
sir.
sir.
God
God
bless.
bless you, sir.
My name is I have finished the class. Okay.